Obinwannem ndị Igbo Global Cultural Movement Foundation.
Obinwannem ndị Igbo Global Cultural Movement Foundation.
Ebumnobi anyị
iweghachite ugwu na nsọpụrụ ahụ eji mara ndị Igbo n'ala Igbo.
Ime ka ihe ndị ahụ eji mara ndị Igbo chawapụta dịka ugo site n'inwe mmụọ nkwado na ịhụkọrịta onwe anyị n'anya.
Ịhụ na ahụhụ na mkpagbu dum anyị gabigara na mgbe gara aga bụzi nke echefuru echefu maka otito na ọdịmma nke ọdịnihu ndị Igbo.
Ịkwalite ọdịmma ndị Igbo site n'igosi ịdịkọ n'otu na agamnihu.
Ịhụ na ndị Igbo jikọtara onwe ha dịka ukwu asịsa were ofe obi na-arụkọ ọrụ iji hụ na njirimara na omenala ndị Igbo na-achawapụta ka ihe na mba ụwa.
Ịkpọlitekwa mmụọ ndị Igbo ka obi sie ha ike ma na-anụ ha ọkụ n'inwetazu ebumnobi ha dị mma maka ọdịmma ndị Igbo n'ala Igbo.
N'ikpeazụ, ịhụ na onweghị nwa afọ Igbo ọbụla gaala azụ na mbọ ahụ a na-agba maka agamnihu ọdịmma na nkwụdosi ike ndị Igbo.
Maka ajụjụ na ihe ndị ọzọ ị chọrọ ịmata gbasara ebumnobi anyị,
kpọọ Dairektọ Nwa Chineke Okechukwu Ugwu na mba Ukraine na akara nọmba +380 975 221413.
Ọma ugbu a Chukwu m na-akpọkwa ka m na-akpọ anwachi Igbo ga-adịkwanụ onwe iberibe aha bekee butere anyị Chineke ekwere ka anyị na-ebu ya. Anyị ga-anọ n'omenala anyị, bekee nọ na nke ha. Ụmụ anyị ga-agụta akwụkwọ bekee gụta nke Igbo. Onye ya agwa nwanne ekwu ya bụrụ n'Igbo gwa ha. Adị agwakwa ndị bekee were onu bekee gwa ha. Aja obodo na ha n'Igbo were onu bekee gwa ha. Ọ bụ onye hụ nwanne ya achị fere onye hụ nwanne ya fere ndị Hausa anaghị asịrị ibe ha, Yoruba anaghị asịrị ibe ha, ebili ndị River na ndị ọzọ anaghị asịrị ibe ha. Bụta ọ bụrụ ndị Igbo fere eme onye na-asịrị ọnụ ikwuru ma ọnụ. Chukwu anụ ma yọgụ ka omenala Igbo mụmụ ichie ụmụnna bụ ike na-akwado m ekwadochie ike ka ihe Igbo na-aga ọfọ aga esiri kwesịrị. Ugbu a ihe anyị nọbụ agụcha n'ọjọọ ọwụwa ya. N'ime ọwụwa ya achọrọ m ka Igbo niile, Igbo gburugburu bịa kwado ọmarịcha Igbo ka ọ na-aga n'ihu. Ndị n'ime ha nọ, ndị na-ana bekee, ndị nọ n'ala Igbo, ndị n'ibe ọbụla ha nọ na Naịjirịa ka ha kwado omenala Igbo. Achọkwana ka obodo ọzọ ghara ewere ọmarịcha Igbo omenala anyị, ka omenala anyị na-aga n'ihu. A na-azọdoro ụkwụ ụba n'Igbo. Ihe anyị na-ekwe n'aha n'Igbo. Ọmarịcha Igbo bịa taa n'ọjị. Ma ndị nwụrụ anwụ ma ndị dị ndụ bịa taa n'ọjị. Ihe unu ga-akwado omenala Igbo. Mụ na onwe m kwadokwa nke omenala Igbo na ọmarịcha Igbo gaa n'ihu. Ugbu a nwa m ọjị a. Igbo mma mmanụ. Igbo mma mmanụ. Ugbu a.
Ụmụ Igbo, ọ bụrụ na ị na-ege anyị ntị n'onu ma na-ekiri ozi ọma nke anyị na-ewetara unu na ozi ndụmọdụ na ịgbazi ọnụ nke anyị na-ewetara unu, biko ka ị na-esonyere anyị na YouTube, na-esonyekwara anyị na Instagram maọbụ na Twitter maọbụ na Facebook na na webụsaịtị nke ndị Obinwannem ka anyị wee na-ezinye abụ ozi ka o si wee kwesị ịdị na-adị, maka na oge erugo mgbe anyị ga-ebupụta ihe nke njirimara Igbo na asụsụ Igbo na omenala Igbo na ihe gbasara ndị Igbo niile n'ụwa niile. Ọ kacha ihe anyị na-achọ bụ Biafra. Ị ga na-afụkwanye abụ ozi ka ọ ga na-abịa. Ị na-esonyere anyị, ị ga na-ama mgbe anyị tụpụtara gị ozi nke dị mkpa ị ya mara, ma wee marakwa ị ga-eme ngwa ngwa ka emeghara ọdachi.
So, expectedly, predictably, the Nigerian police fired tear gas and some reports say live ammunition and occupied major roads here in Abuja to stop peaceful demonstrations called to protest against the continued detention for more than 7 years of the separatist leader Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, who's on trial facing terrorism charges. In the Abuja city centre, heavily armed police, supported by soldiers in a massive show of force, patrolled with water cannon and armoured trucks, firing volleys of tear gas wherever they saw protesters trying to gather. Mr. Kanu leads the banned Indigenous People of Biafra Movement, or IPOB, a group that advocates for the secession of southeast Nigeria. Mr. Kanu's supporters say his detention in the last decade is politically motivated. They want him released and the 7 counts of terrorism against him, to which Mr. Kanu has pleaded not guilty, quashed.
Nnamdi Kanu was first arrested in October 2015 upon his return from the UK. He was later released on bail in April 2017 on health grounds. Later that year, his trial was disrupted when soldiers invaded his home in Abia State, leading to the deaths of some of his followers. Mr. Kanu subsequently fled the country, but was rearrested in Kenya in June 2021 and extraordinarily renditioned to Nigeria. In April 2022, the Federal High Court struck out 8 of the 15 charges against him, citing a lack of merit. Later, in October 2022, the Court of Appeal ordered his immediate release and quashed the remaining charges. However, a year later, the Supreme Court overturned that decision, allowing the federal government to continue his trial on the remaining counts. Mr. Kanu's continued detention has sparked growing public outcry and renewed calls for his release, culminating in today's protest. Rita Osakwe, Arise News.
So, after today's demonstration, will there be more protests or perhaps a protest epiphany, a eureka moment that will lead to Mr. Kanu's release? Well, for more on this, I'm joined now in the studio by the main organizer of today's Free Nnamdi Kanu protest, the political activist and former presidential candidate, Omoyele Sowore. And I'm also joined by the public affairs analyst, Mazi Iroegbu, who is both a member of the People's Democratic Party and an obedient, and who took part in today's demonstration. Gentlemen, thank you very much indeed for coming in.
Thank you for having us.
You look a bit red-eyed there. I wonder why.
Well, it's been a lot of tear gas inhalation today and a lot of attacks by the Nigerian police. So I haven't done anything else today than just protest. And we also ended up at the FCT command of Nigerian police to get some of the lawyers, because Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's main lawyer was arrested, and lawyer Jima, because his younger brother was arrested, and 11 others. We went to see them, and they gave us a hope, false hope, that they'll be released tonight. But we found out on our way here that they'll be moved to a place they call Abattoir, which is one of the reasons why there was NSAS in 2020. It's a major torture chamber of the Nigerian police. So they also tear gas us right in front of their office this evening.
So more than 7 years in detention, almost a decade in fact, and he's still not been found guilty of any crime. And your contention is that in line with the Nigerian constitution, which says that a man is innocent until proven guilty and which calls for the speedy dispensation of justice, it's time to set this captive free. Is that a fair assessment and the reason you led today's protest?
Yes, it is because also the Court of Appeal in 2022 did take a decision, a decisive decision, that having been extraordinarily renditioned from Kenya, kidnapped is the other word for it, there are no charges that can hold in that court, and he was asked to be released. That judgment ought to have taken effect immediately was given. But the Nigerian government did not honor that judgment. Yeah. They claimed they were going on appeal. An appeal does not constitute a stay when personal liberty is involved. He's been discharged. there's nothing that could have held them except to get a brand new detention order, which they didn't, because they were not interested in any trial. They were interested in subduing and subjugating Nnamdi Kanu for committing a crime against the real estate called Nigeria, which is to say, look, we may want to think about our own country, considering that this country has no respect for our dignity, our culture, and our safety. So I have laid this out before, and I have also looked at the case notes. I worked with the lawyers. I am in a position to tell you when I see a useless case, because I get charged severally for this kind of frivolous cases. Nnamdi Kanu is not being held for committing terrorism. No, he's being held because he is an Igbo man who wants Nigeria to either allow justice to the Igbo man or let the Igbo man be. That is the crime Nnamdi Kanu committed. It's a crime committed with a microphone, not an AK-47.
Right. Okay, I'm going to come back to you in a minute, but Mazi Dixon, I wonder what your reaction, because you kind of lost your voice.
Yes,
there.
I did.
I wonder what your reaction is to the fact that the march that you attended was tumbled, let me put it that way, by the police. They fired tear gas to disperse the protesters, and you apparently fell victim to that show of force and to that tear gas. And clearly, I wonder whether that cast a shadow on things for you, how much it did cast a shadow.
Charles, please permit me first of all to commend my brother here, Sowore. I was born 7 years after the Civil War, and for the first time in my adult life, I felt loved as an Igbo man by other Nigerians. Another Nigerian took it upon himself to say enough of this balkanization of fatherland.
Well, that's a bit of an exaggeration, isn't it?
But that's what it is.
Igbos are across the country doing business and attending to their affairs.
That is earned by merit. I'm talking about someone sacrificing his own liberty to say there's a brother in there, because an injury to one should be an injury to all. If we are to build our country, then indeed we must have that understanding that together we should, not by letting some people out of this whole process. So, my brother Sowore, thank you. Thank you for showing love to a fellow countryman, because it's difficult. Look at what Nigerians are going through.
But to be fair to Sowore, he's shown that same love to
No. I'm talking for myself as an Igbo man.
Okay.
Because the case here is that Nnamdi Kanu being incarcerated today is simply because he comes from that part of Nigeria. Because what's his crime? It's not just about, oh, you're not treating my people fine or not treating my people well. It's also about, this is not how to build a nation. So if we can't build this nation the way it should be, then please, we can't stay here. And there's nothing wrong with that. And if you think there's something wrong with it, call him to the table and discuss what are the issues. Okay, if you are not comfortable, what can we do better to ensure that some of those grounds of yours can be addressed and all that. So sincerely, today again, being that it was peaceful, because it was well declared by the convener of this very protest, that it is a peaceful protest, and it was peaceful. But go around Abuja, if this was how the Nigerian police force was tackling insecurity in our country, we won't be here. We won't be discussing insecurity in Nigeria. But it could move. We just simply need tear gas, live bullets list, not just at one location. Even when we since we have stopped off from coming around this so-called big men area, we're moving to the people. We moved from there to Beggar, roundabout, and then from there we moved to, they came there and moved us to Otako. They still came that way, tear gassed and all of that, and then moved also to Apo and all that. You now wonder, what is it that the Nigerian government really wants from the Nigerian people?
Right.
For us to be violent? Is it because we decided to be peaceful? Right. So indeed, it's unfortunate that this is the country that we found ourselves, but it cannot continue this way.
Well, Mr. Sowore, let me come back to you. The protests obviously gained a lot of traction on social media. You're very influential on social media and beyond. And it probably alarmed the government, especially after the US Embassy cautioned its citizens to stay away from the protest locations in Abuja. Were you surprised that your call for a protest gained as many followers as quickly as it did?
Well, it wasn't only on social media. It happened everywhere around Abuja. We had 6 spots where we had thousands of people converge in march. We were at Utako. We were at Apple, which has the largest crowd.
Turnout, yeah.
We were at Gudu, and we then relocated to the FCT command, where we were tear gas, but we were attacked ruthlessly everywhere we went. What these people are telling you is that you cannot be a peaceful person in Nigeria and get away with it.
Yeah.
You can only be violent and get away with it, because if we were terrorists or bandits, as they call them, we could have been walking around Abuja today with ammunition and nobody will come near us. But fortunately, or unfortunately, people like me have chosen a non-violent approach to resolving issues. But that doesn't mean that a generation is not coming that will not accept this nonsense.
But I mean, you know that what happens when these protests take place is that they tend to metamorphose into something bigger. And the government knows that beyond the specific case of Nnamdi Kanu, you and other opposition politicians, he's an opposition politician, you often intend to wake up the spirit of the masses who say, you know, they're fed up with bad governance. I mean, your movement, by the way, is called Revolution Now.
Yes, and I won't deny that. In fact, I think the traction around this particular protest was beyond just Nnamdi Kanu. People are fed up with the system, and they cannot deal with the fact that somebody who hasn't committed any offense known to law, an offense that is triable, that's the way I'll put it, is held in detention. Whereas that same week, the president is pardoning drug dealers, kidnappers and murderers, and Nnamdi Kanu, who you can't establish any offense against, is kept perpetually detained, is tortured, is harassed, his lawyers, his lead lawyers were speaking, is in detention.
I have to say that the time is ridiculously long.
Yes.
I mean, upwards of 7 years in detention. I mean, it doesn't make any sense at all.
You see, the larger Nigerian nation is itself an open prison. I spent 5 years here over a boat.
So sort of Gaza.
Yes.
Yes.
But Gaza is better than Nigeria in some ways.
I wouldn't go that far, to be honest.
Gaza, throughout this period of bombardment, had electricity. so I had some kind of water supply that you can't get here. The sewage was. I am not in any way saying this, so you don't misunderstand me in the future. But Nigeria is, you can't even define what is wrong with Nigeria. It's like a nation that is at war, with itself and against itself. Yeah. And when you see this happen, what we have experienced with Nnamdi Kanu, with terrorists walking around, the federal government even went and attended the naming ceremony of one of the bandits after they met in Katsina, you would ask yourself, why am I here? Why am I in a country like this? And that is probably why most people call Nnamdi Kanu a prophet, that he saw into the future that this country is not the kind of country you want to have your children in. And there's nothing wrong if you want your own country. This international law recognizes that. If I declare Sowore Republic tomorrow, what are you going to do to me? Arrest me and detain me perpetually? No, it is not done. So what we're saying here, when you see injustice, you know it, and you don't need to be told that the way and manner injustices are handled in Nigeria have colorations. Sometimes it may not be ethnic, but it might be religious, it might be political. I was around throughout Abiola's persecution. Abiola did not declare more than saying, I'm president because I won an election. He died in detention. They kept saying, we were fighting in those days, Abiola is in detention, Abiola is being handled by the courts, it's being handled by the court. He wasn't being tried. The Supreme Court had gone on break. So the same thing that I'm alarmed, and I'm saying this to anybody who is watching, I'm alarmed, I'm shocked that we're in a country where there's anybody who feels what is being done to Nnamdi Kanu is okay. And I say this particularly of my Yoruba brothers who make these comments. Some of them even have the audacity to send me messages personally. Oh, you know, they'll be sending you all these videos, you know, because your brother is in power. But I was the only person when Sunday Igboho's house was raided and all his people were, including his cat, was killed. I was the only person in this Abuja who went to the Federal High Court who pushed the DSS out of the front of the courtroom. And that was the day his people were granted bail. Nobody talked about it. Yeah. There are Yoruba activists who went and invaded a radio station in Ibadan. Have you heard about them anymore? Even Sunday Igboho, my brother, is back. He's actually, you know, he's moving around freely. Nnamdi Kanu has never carried a weapon before. Most of these guys have done things like that. Why are we treating the Igbo man differently? And I'm not saying that to whip up sentiment, because I'm ashamed, of course, of these Southeastern leaders. Because when I was on your show last time, you remember, I was saying that Nnamdi Kanu is being kept in detention deliberately by Southeastern politicians. They showed themselves in the last few days. The deputy speaker was asking people not to join peaceful protests. You know, all the governors kept quiet about it. The Ohaneze Ndigbo person in our heads is, you know, is a wicked version of Ohaneze Ndigbo. He's saying that nobody should go out to fight for the freedom of a person who is innocent of any crime. And we are here saying it is normal. It is normal. Even the policemen who were shooting at us today were fighting for them a month ago to get their pension and gratuity. They were the ones shooting at us. They saw me today, came close to me, and they were shooting directly at me. 4 times today, the policemen I fought for. There's something wrong with this country, sir.
Let me ask you this, Dixon Iroegbu. If Nnamdi Kanu is released today, do you believe that it will stop his group from calling for the Southeast to secede from Nigeria, assuming that is the issue? Or is it something that is beyond him alone, and therefore he should not be held entirely responsible for it? Because I think somebody made the point earlier today that you had the Biafra war before him, and of course groups like MASOB, etc., before IPOB.
Yes. If Nnamdi Kanu is released today, first what it will bring is a separation from the call for secession, or for the call for Biafra, away from the criminals who have wrecked the Southeast today. What we want is to redeem the most peaceful part of Nigeria, which Southeast used to be before 2015, that APC took over our government, and Buhari continued with whatever, Buhari started with whatever it is that he had against the Southeasterners. But we thought, okay, Tinubu has come. What is he doing there? If he wants to unite the country, why not bring everybody's interests to the table? So release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu may not necessarily end call for secession or call for Biafra. Biafra is no more about secession, really. Biafra is now more like a religion. Because, Charles, 3.5 million Nigerians were slaughtered in that war. There is no household in Igbo land today you go to that you won't have one person or the other that was lost in their family. So it will be difficult, therefore, to forget Biafra. What will bring about an end to the call for secession will be this country allowing for equity for all, justice for all, fairness for all. That is what will end any form of secession, whether it is Yoruba nation or Biafra nation. I am not part of call for any nation at all. I believe in Nigeria, but not this kind of Nigeria. I want a Nigeria where everybody can at least go to court, ask for justice, and get it. But now it is the highest bidder. We're not running democracy anymore in our country, because if this was democracy, freedom of association and protest as we had today and all of that would have been allowed. What we have are plutocrats who are afraid of the people, because today we saw how scared the elites are. They are scared stiff. They don't want us to get together to indeed demand for our common good. So I am only saying that releasing Nnamdi Kanu so that the criminals can be treated as criminals, so that people will not be committing the kind of crimes that we're seeing in the Southeast in the name of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. And I don't think, if the commander-in-chief really understands what he's commanding, I don't think he should continue to to give deaf ears to the call for the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. He should be released as immediately as possible.
Mr. Sowore, I wonder how much you were influenced by protests in other parts of the world. I mean, we've had Madagascar recently, we've had Nepal. I mean, these are the kind of things that maybe worry the government. Protests involving people known as Gen Z, and I mean, we saw a whole bunch of them coming here with you. One assumes, of course, as you have yourself repeatedly pointed out, that your approach is different. Because in Nepal, for instance, they burned down everything. But I understand that obviously you want your protests to be peaceful and pacific.
Yes, because I often stated that justice for all, for me, is not specific enough. You know, it's a bogey. And we have to specifically ask for things that would advance the progress of Nigerians or the people who live within the boundaries of a country called Nigeria. I do not believe in violence. That I've stated, but I've been protesting since I was 21 years old, and that's to remind people who are with even Dixon and I were arrested in 2021 by Hassan, the DPO of Secretariat.
Nnamdi was brought back from Kenya.
We went to attend Nnamdi Kanu's trial. Yeah. So I've been at this for a long time. But you know, anybody who is discerning, who is the leader of Nigeria, should know that these young people are watching what's happening in Nepal and other places. Yeah. And, you know, deploying people on social media to discourage them is not going to discourage them. We now heard that there's a coup or an attempted coup. So everything, you know, the jigsaws are coming into play.
Those are reports that are verified. Well, and let me just point out that the Defense Department denied that any such thing took place.
Well, you know, anything they deny is something you should believe, especially when it comes to those kind of
issues.
But
we have to kind of balance the story.
So, but what I'm saying here is that Nigerians are watching, and you can't use barbed wire to separate them from their leaders forever. One day, they will step over the barbed wires, the tear gas will not work, it won't stop anybody, water cannons will be useless.
Even the bullets, how many?
Even bullets, the moment you kill a few people,
but I'm wondering, you said you've been protesting since you were 21.
Yes.
I mean, do you, after all those years, do you think that people have a disproportionate amount of power to effect change? Because it doesn't seem to be happening in this, if you like, bifurcated, many channels political world that Nigeria has become, or Nigeria is.
If there was no protest in Nigeria, Nigeria would have gone completely to the dogs. If there hasn't been protests over separate different issues.
Even the
Nigeria wouldn't have
protest.
Left military dictatorship. Yeah. Maybe we'll be like Cameroon now, where the person who is president is dead, brain dead, but alive to elections. So nobody should discountenance protests. I met Goodluck Jonathan recently, and I'm glad Aisha is here with us. She has been abusing me about it on her YouTube show, on a lighter note. And I said, can you come protest?
It's not fair to say that she can't reply to you right away.
She's my friend, I'm just saying.
Yeah, okay.
But when we spoke up to the point, I said, can you join this protest? He said, no, I'm a former head of state. I can't participate in a protest. I said, but if you run for election and you lose, the first thing you do is to go and protest. Protest, there's nobody in Nigeria that has not participated in protests. From president to high school kids. Buhari was a protester in this country until he became president. Tinubu was funding all the protesters in Nigeria since June 12 and beyond, up to 2015 until they captured power and they now hated protesters. The ones that cannot protest always reach out to people who can help them protest whenever they're in trouble. Yeah. I get that from all these people all the time. This Nnamdi Kanu that we're talking about once protested on behalf of Ojuzo Kalu when he was being tried for corruption. Yeah. Ojuzo Kalu is now one of the people who says, oh, Nnamdi Kanu should let the court process be completed. But when he was tried for corruption, what did he do? He ran to the APC because he cannot trust Nigerian courts. These are the kind of people you have in these political parties who are so dishonest and hypocritical.
They don't care about
like I said, there's a generation washing. And that generation is what the biblical people say that the next Pharaoh may not know Joseph.
Yeah.
Abi?
Yes.
Yes.
Pharaoh.
Yeah, Pharaoh.
Pharaoh who knows.
Right. Let me ask you this, because very briefly, because we're almost out of time. A lot of dust has been raised by today's protest, no question about that. But is it likely to make things better or worse for Mr. Kanu? 30 seconds.
It should make it better because the statement was loud and very resounding. I believe those living in their high fences in the villa heard very loudly that the people are demanding for the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu.
Okay.
I just want to believe that they should respond to that.
A final word from you, Mr. Sowore. What happens next with your stated desire to mount pressure on the government to release Nnamdi Kanu?
If they don't, there will be a bigger murder of all protests. Again, we will announce the date, but let me say this. I'll give them a period of grace to get the acts together and do this as soon as possible. Otherwise, we'll be back.
Okay, on that
Chair, I represent the great people, Mr. Speaker, of Ikuano, Umaya North and Umaya South Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm an Abia man. Mr. Speaker, I rise on Order 6, Rule 2, matters of privilege.
What do you want to... Go ahead.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me the opportunity. I wish to draw the attention of Mr. Speaker and the House that on the 26th of August, 2025, I wrote a letter to Mr. Speaker, the House of Representatives, as well as a letter to the Attorney General of the Federation and a letter to Mr. President, urging for the urgent intervention request in the deteriorating health conditions of my constituent, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Up until today, Mr. Speaker, I have yet to receive any response from Mr. Speaker, from Mr. President, and from the Attorney General, despite the deteriorating health of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, whom has been evaluated by his own team of doctors and came up with a report which was attached to the letter that was submitted to Mr. Speaker and to the President and as well to the Attorney General. Second evaluation has been conducted by the Nigerian Medical Association, and the results even further confirms the deteriorating health of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, that he has organ deficiencies, low potassium, and that he is, as we speak, on the verge of death. Mr. Speaker, at the instruction of the court instructed in 8 days for the Nigerian Medical Association to also do their own assessment. So there are 3 reports now, Mr. Speaker, all leading to the same direction. I quote the judge. The judge says, "It's only a man who is alive and living can stand trial." Mr. Speaker, this is not politics or any other thing, but it is a fundamental human right that should be ascribed to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Most other people in that gap have been given opportunities to even travel overseas to seek medical attention. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is neither convicted of any crimes in Nigeria and must be protected under the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So, Mr. Speaker, a lot of progress has been made in order to see that the government does the right thing to be able to afford Mazi Nnamdi Kanu the urgent treatment that he needs. It's significant, Mr. Speaker, if otherwise...
My dear honorable colleague,
yes, sir.
I do not see where your privilege is conflicted here.
I have not received a letter that I wrote to the Speaker. I'm a member of the House, and my office deserves a response, whether it's positive or not. But as a member, and the letters were received by your office on the 27th of August, right here.
Is the letter you wrote to Mr. Speaker's office just a notification?
Not a notification,
or a demand for a certain action? to be taken?
Yes, we requested for a certain action, which was to intervene in the medical condition of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, whom is now, his health condition is deteriorating.
If it is something specific to the office of the Speaker, Honorable, I find it a little bit intriguing that you will come by way of a privilege to demand action to be taken.
Mr. Speaker,
the letter
was
of
written.
The Speaker that you have direct
Mr.
access
Speaker,
to.
the letter was written since August 26th.
You have direct, unfettered, Honorable,
yes, sir,
unfettered access to my office. This is not the kind of thing that I would expect that will come by way of privilege.
It is a matter of privilege.
If it is something beyond you, from the outside, but if it is something that is a letter written to my office, you know, a phone call from you, a visit to my office can solve the problem. So I don't think if...
Mr. Speaker, I've been to your office, Mr. Speaker.
So you mean
I've
you
also
have
submitted the
explored
letter,
all
Mr.
options
Speaker.
and opportunities. You couldn't see me except here.
I've come to your office, Mr. Speaker. We just resumed today.
I don't think
we
this,
just resumed today, Mr. Speaker. And it's very important.
Please down nothing to do.
Yes.
Please, I beg you. Step it down.
Please be guided. Mr. Speaker, please be guided. Mr. Speaker, it's a matter of life and death.
Please,
my
please be guided. I am trying to tell you the procedure. This is not right. Step it down and see me if you want any action concerning any letter you have written to me. You don't need to go by way of this.
The House rules, excuse me, sir. The House rules allows me the latitude to bring an issue of privilege to this House and to the attention of Mr. Speaker. And it is important, Mr. Speaker, that this House
only when your
takes
privilege is compromised
of the issue of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu
that you can bring it up. And I thought that particular position is talking in respect of instances where the issues is beyond your control. But this is not what a letter from you to from yourself to me.
Yes, sir. The
when
letter
you
is
have,
here.
as a member, the direct access to come to my office and seek for explanation.
Mr. Speaker,
why?
I've been to your office.
Have to go through this?
I've been to your office to seek over-argue with the Speaker. Please. Excuse me, sir. Can you read the order book, Rule 6 and subsection 2, to know that I also have the right.
Honorable,
yes,
you do. Please, you are ruled out of order. You are ruled out of order. You can sit down, please.
I have to. You are ruled out of order, please. Listen to the gavel.
Mr. Speaker.
Listen to the gavel, please.
Mr. Speaker.
All right, the allegations that the police fired live ammunitions on the demonstrators today, dispersing them. But the police is saying that, well, there are contraventions by the demonstrators who have protested or marched the street around the sensitive areas where restrictions are being made. So let's get to hear from the spokesperson of the Nigerian police force, Mr. Benjamin Hunde. He is live for us here in our studio. Thanks so much, PPRO, for joining us tonight.
Thanks for having me on the show tonight.
I appreciate it. Did you get a court order about these, specifically about this protest of today?
Yes, we did. We got a court order specifically about this protest and restricting protests from certain areas like the Aso Villa, the Supreme Court, the National Assembly, Eagle Square, the Force Headquarters, and Shehu Shagari Way. And the court order says protesters are restricted from going to these areas. And as a law enforcement agency, we are duty bound to enforce that court order.
So it was the Nigerian police force that went on behalf of the IGP went to the court, and this was on Wednesday or whatever. Am I right?
On Friday.
It was on Friday.
Yeah.
Were you able to secure the court order? Because I understand that the court was supposed to sit on that matter today, but that never held.
Well, I'm talking about Friday. We approached the court and we got the court order.
There is a valid court order from, is it Justice Omotosho's court?
There is a valid court order from Federal High Court in Abuja, and that is what we enforced today. It came out on Friday.
So on what grounds did the police want those specific areas to be isolated from the protesters?
You see, FCT is very big. You can protest anywhere and your voices will still be heard. It will still be reported by the press. And these are critical infrastructure that need to be protected. And don't forget that these are places where protests have happened in the past and things were destroyed. We have records of that. So it's our duty as an agency, it's our mandate to protect life and property, to ensure law and order. So whatever step we need to take to achieve that mandate is what we'll take. All lawful steps, and that was what we did. So we took that step in order to protect the critical infrastructure in those areas.
Is it about critical infrastructure or about protecting the powerful against the average person? Because the average person that went on the street today, these places that you are mentioning, the National Assembly, the Sowore, all of these are places where you find the powerful and the mighty in Nigeria. Is that what you are protecting?
Definitely not. Like I said, no matter where you protest, your voices will be heard. In fact, this is the age of internet and ICT. People will always make videos and stream and make their voices heard. So it's not about that. There was a group that protested along this road some years back, and it was anarchy, it was chaos. In fact, I remember that the ambulance that was there was burnt down. So we've seen this before, and we need to learn from incidents that have happened in the past. So we would not allow this to happen, especially when we see the red flags, when we get the intel, the intelligence that such a thing is going to happen. We are duty bound to take every preemptive step to make sure it doesn't happen.
So what intelligence did the police have to suggest that this one was going to escalate to the point that it's going to put the lives of the president living in the presidential villa, the lives of the lawmakers in jeopardy, or any properties in jeopardy?
Thank you very much. We might not be able to go into details of the intelligence, but it's enough to say that everything we did was in good faith to protect Nigerians and protect the city. So we're saying it again that we approached the court listened to us and graciously granted.
Are you able to make available this court order so that Nigerians can be able to see the content of what the court is restricting these protesters who are unarmed? By the way, there are allegations that you fire live ammunition. What did they do to live ammunition? Did you want to kill them, or what exactly was the problem?
Number one, the court order is not a classified document. It's readily available.
But the copy that you have, you were the one who went to court.
Yes, I can make a copy available. Yeah. You can also just...
You did that in ex parte. That means that you appear before the court in exclusively to before the police and the court.
Yes, and it is clearly stated in that same order that the other party should appear this morning, 9 a.m. in court. It was clearly stated as just for in the spirit of fair play. Now, talking about live ammunition, I can state it categorically, authoritatively, that no live ammunition was fired today. Not a single live ammunition. It's very easy for people who are not familiar with the sounds to mistake the firing of tear gas for live ammunition. It makes the same popping sound, the explosion-like sound, but I can say it on good authority that no live ammunition was fired.
Are you sure that all of your police officers, because there are evidence and pellets that are being picked, and I guess after some time, those will be made available, that the live ammunitions and the pellets of the police were said to have been these demonstrators who are unarmed?
Well, if you talk about tear gas canisters being picked on the floor, yes, I would agree. But I'm yet to see shots. But I'm also confirming again that there was no live ammunition.
Gas fired at the protesters. Why?
Oh, thank you very much. The court order stated it clearly that the protesters should not go anywhere around the areas I mentioned earlier. And those protesters made an approach. They wanted to go to these areas. And like I said, as a law enforcement agency, on Saturday, we made it clear that we're going to enforce this court order. We gave enough warning for these people to court order. We gave enough warning for these people to step back and not go beyond where they were, but they were adamant and they were going to approach these areas. And we just conform to standard operating procedures. And we decided to use, in conformity with our SOP, to use minimal force that is commensurate with the resistance we are getting. And we used tear gas. That was the least that we could do. Nobody was harmed or injured, and we're able to successfully achieve our mandate and disperse the protesters.
Because this is what Sowore and some of the protesters claim. They say, quote, suddenly from nowhere they started shooting at us, tear gas, and some live bullets were fired. Luckily, I don't think anybody was hit with the live bullets, but they were just shooting all around. Why were the sporadic shooting? Because I imagine that there are very trained police officers who are trained on how to disarm or disperse people or stop people from encroaching into areas. If you said that you have court order, a valid court order restraining people from moving an area, because it then make the police look like an insensitive, a very military-like civil organization that's supposed to protect the citizen from harm.
Do not forget that first, there was a court order saying people should not go there. Secondly, we issued a statement explaining...
Is tear gas the best way to disperse people? You know the health danger of a tear gas on the average person.
I'll tell you this. Before tear gas is shot or fired, the people, the protesters in this particular case, were warned, were told to disperse. You cannot go beyond that point. And do not forget that their protests and their insistence on approaching these areas actually caused traffic gridlock.
It was the police who caused the traffic.
No.
Your men, apologies please, your men barricaded the part of...
You're going to say barricade, yes.
You barricaded, you stop people from moving freely.
You were going to say...
That stopped people from business, citizens who are going about their daily business. From yesterday night, that has been happening. We monitored and we saw.
I said...
You barricaded off from Maitama, off from the other side of zone 4, zone 2.
I said something earlier, that in order to achieve our mandate of protecting life and property, maintaining law and order, we'll do everything legally needed.
Including making the life of citizens of the city miserable.
Now, barricading that road is in furtherance of achieving our mandate. And in such places, traffic was diverted. So there were alternate routes to be used.
Traffic was halted, sir.
Okay.
Because that's what happened. So if you look at people who are coming from the other end of the villa side towards Maitama, towards the central, towards the police headquarters, they're not allowed to move in there. You go all the way. It will take a journey of 30 minutes will take you an hour and a half in the city today. It's fair on the average person.
Allow me to land on my thoughts. The moment the tear gas was fired, traffic started moving. The videos are available online. Traffic started moving. So we are confident that we're not protesting and we're going about their lawful duties.
Mr. Ondayi, my question is tear gas the best way to disperse citizens?
In this particular instance, after all words of proclamation, after all admonition fails, when the protesters remain adamant, then the minimal force we can use in this case is tear gas.
What about water canisters? Are you not able to, water cannons? And I thought that, I saw a few of them, the very large, big ones, or you are out of water.
You are going to ask the same question, that is water cannon the best way to disperse citizens?
I'm saying water could be fairer than smoking people. Are they animals?
Like we said, this is standard operating procedure. It's not a Nigerian thing.
What about water? I'm saying what about water? Well, you're not able to use water, or you just ate the faces of those who are protesting. Now, what exactly it's a police force standing for the people or standing against the people?
You make it sound like tear gas is a biological weapon or weapon of mass destruction. No, this is approved.
But it's harmful to the health of the
This is approved, and this is used by police forces around the world. We are not using anything illegal. We are not using anything unlawful. And like I said, this comes after a series of warnings. And mind you, immediately the warning was given that this is going to be done, the people that had health concern and that loved themselves left that place. So this was for the unruly.
So there was a police officer who announced that
this was for this was that standard procedure. We always do that, and this for the unruly and adamant protesters.
Well, give us an understanding of the arrests that were made. Why? You arrested Nnamdi Kanu's brother,
Kanu, yes,
and you arrested his lawyer too.
Barrister Aloy, yes.
Why?
Because they insisted on making way to the restricted areas. And not just 2 of them, 6 others were also arrested around Transcorp for this same reason. So we arrested a total of 8 of them. They are currently at the state CID. And once we conclude our investigation, just like we said in our statement, that anybody who violated that court order would be arrested, diligently investigated, and prosecuted. So once we conclude that, which we should tonight, then they'll be prosecuted immediately. In less than 24 hours, they'll be facing the court.
So now, people are going to be prosecuted because they're exercising their constitutional rights.
No, you're getting it wrong.
The question is that, are they aware? Would any citizen be prosecuted for an offense he or she is not aware of? And that's why we're asking, where is the court order? How many you went to court ex parte to get the court order, but you never made it available to Nigerians.
They were arrested not for carrying out their lawful duties, but for contravening a valid court order.
A court order that was not made available to the public.
The court order is there, and in our statement on Saturday, we mentioned the court, we mentioned the judge, we mentioned the court order number, we mentioned everything. We were so plain, we made it clear, and we also warned that anybody that contravened that court order would be arrested. We made it clear.
So, is the police aware of a possible optics of what happened today? Whether or not the police is on the side of the people or on the side against the people? Is police aware and managing these optics?
Well, I don't think it's as bad as you make it look.
Is it me that make it look?
No, as you're painting, I don't think it's as bad as you are painting. A couple of, in fact, do you know, this happened in Abuja, and one man carried a placard in Lagos, and a few people in Abia State, and that's all, no other states. So these people came out, and we tried our best. We managed the situation. I think we deserve commendation for this.
In fact, we understand that the IG actually rushed back to Nigeria from an event he was attending in the US.
Because of this? No, far from it.
Where did he?
Far from it.
But abruptly, he was supposed to be at that conference.
Far from it. The IG was in Denver, Colorado for the opening ceremony, for the IACP. He attended the opening ceremony, and he had to come back for other pressing security matters. See, I'll tell you this. The IG has carefully selected sound officers, operationally sound officers to man strategic positions within the force, such that even if he's not in the country, if he's not around, the police will do what it's supposed to do to a very large extent. The IG does not micromanage people. And do not forget that his PhD thesis is in protests management. So he's an expert in this. There are standard operating procedures he has handed down to all his commissioners of police. So even if he's not in the country, things we move as they should. But he's back in the country, not for this, but for other pressing security concerns. But it's good that he's on ground so that he can say things for himself.
Would it be about the coup? Did he rush now also because of the coup?
Now, the defense headquarters has debunked that there was a coup, but that's ordinarily should be enough to make an IG come back to the country, to ensure that there is no anarchy, there is no breakdown of law and order, and there is absolute peace.
Now, so let's take the conversation further and look at it from a different prism. I'm being joined by Chief Dan Nwayawu, a former presidential candidate and the national chairman of the Zenith Labour Party. Is live for us here in our Abuja studio. Many thanks for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having me, Shehu.
The Free Nnamdi Kanu protest and the agitation for the federal government to release Nnamdi Kanu. How do you view it?
It is a legitimate demand. And I support the protest. Many Nigerians are in support of the protest. And my position on this has been clear, even from when President Buhari forcefully took him away from Kenya. As far as I'm concerned, Nnamdi Kanu did not do anything that will warrant his detention for 5 years. Nnamdi Kanu, there is no evidence to show that he killed anybody. There's no evidence to show that he carried arms.
That's for the court to determine.
And
that is in trial.
But if the courts are keeping somebody for 5 years and they have not been able to try him,
is that illegitimate?
Of course, the court. You can see. Hasn't the court decided on this matter when it came to the issue of his bail before the Court of Appeal? He was discharged and acquitted. So as far as I'm concerned, you started with the court. Shehu, I, like most Nigerians, are not persuaded in any manner with what is going in the courts. And I will not also be persuaded, whatever judgment, either way or the other, that comes out from the courts. Because there is a deliberate attempt. I say so when President Buhari was in office. There are people who have committed heinous crimes in this country. They have murdered people, they have kidnapped people, they have raped women, they have killed children, they have done all sorts of things. There are people aiding and abetting them. There are people who have gone to their domain, talking with them. We are aware of helicopters dropping food, dropping ammunition in the bush, which of course our security had the capacity to trap. Shehu, Nnamdi Kanu did not do any of those. But he's in detention. What was the cause? And I told President Buhari, it was because of the ancient hatred you have against the Igbos. I told President Buhari when he was in office, my position has not changed. But why I'm worried, you're looking at me. I told him you had ancient hatred against the Igbos. That was why he kept Nnamdi Kanu there. If he was from another tribe, Nnamdi Kanu will not be there.
Are you dispassionate about this, or you are speaking because you are of the same extraction?
Good.
Because there are those who oppose, who don't have the same view as you have it tonight about the situation. There are those who ask questions about those who have taken opportunists on the situation in the South is based on the order, the radio broadcasts, the publications, and the statements that are being made online. You know what has happened with the man in Finland that has been prosecuted. As soon as that man was being prosecuted, the sit-at-home order and some of the mayhem being unleashed by opportunists of the agitation of Biafra stopped. Southeast started experiencing under this government some level of peace.
Shehu. What I'm saying, I said it to a sitting president. Whether people agree or not, Shehu, you know those that loves you. You know those who hate you. It's not because I'm Igbo. I would have taken the same position if a Yoruba man or Fulani man was involved. My patriotism has no limitations.
What do you think that government of the day? Apology. What do you think the government of the day who felt that a region consisting of 5 states is under consistent attack and is in distress and is insecure based on the action and the statement of one person? What do you think they could have done differently?
You see the matter? President Tinubu did not cause this problem. He inherited it. President Tinubu has no hand in the detention of Nnamdi Kanu. But what is curious is why he has not taken steps to get him out. He has no hand. He didn't take him there.
As a lawyer, you think how easy would that be to establish a non-prosecutor on a matter of national security?
What is the national security? These are things that people manufacture to justify their positions.
Nnamdi Kanu is facing one of the highest criminal offenses.
And that is what? And that is what?
Terrorism charges against him.
Can you define terrorism?
No, that's what for the courts to tell.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. And all the others, all those people that did all the things I aforementioned, none was charged of terrorism. I have explained to you, Nnamdi Kanu has the right to demand peacefully for anything for his people. I am not saying because I'm from there. And that was why I have said it before you. President Tinubu, get him out of this. He has no hand in it. But he's in a position to rectify it. He knew the truth. Why has he not done so? You see, people are talking about some interest group. People are saying, don't release him. It will disbalance this, disbalance that. The truth is that Nnamdi Kanu, as we said that time to President Buhari, go and discuss with Nnamdi Kanu. You don't have to look for him in this manner. This is somebody, look at what is happening today. He did not talk to anybody. If he was outside, they say he has sponsored everybody. Okay. Sowore that is taking this thing on his own now, based on his struggles. He's not an Igbo. You were not able to tell Sowore this because he's not Igbo. If it was Dawanya, you say, hey, he has come. So we should forget about all these mundane issues and considerations. What is bad is bad. What is not good must be condemned no matter who is involved. President Tinubu, yes, we agree there are some people in the southeast who do not want Nnamdi Kanu out.
Really? There are people like that?
I can say it authoritatively.
Who are those?
There are some top businessmen who are involved in businesses in Abuja, oil and all that. There are some top politicians who are of the view, and which is correct, that if Nnamdi Kanu comes today, there are people whose political career will come to an end permanently without him saying a word. Nnamdi Kanu has been loved by the people. It's like when they were chasing Fubara. You heard me say so here. I told President Tinubu, if the issue about 2027, the person to do business with is Fubara. Are you seeing what is happening there now? They have loved him, they have loved him. Organic support. Nnamdi Kanu need not talk to anybody. That was why I'm sure that is the pressure that the president is having. But the president is number one. He is the president of Nigeria. And he's the only person that can say, stop, it will stop. You don't have to take everything that everybody puts to you, hook, line, and sinker. When the issue started with this insecurity in the southeast, they raided the prison. We came out to say, no, this was not our deeds. Those people were imported. Security came back to realize it. But what happened next? Because they have been exposed, they decided to recruit urchins, non-educated people, people that are not skilled. Locals started training them.
Are you an IPOB apologist?
No. Look.
I
don't expect you to.
Are you a believer?
No. I don't expect you to come to that question because you know that I believe in Nigeria.
But I'm asking you, you might have your. You might have
no.
You might have an apology for the struggle of Biafra and what IPOB stands for.
I am an open book. You will always know where I am.
You know the history of IPOB.
I believe.
You know the history of IPOB.
What's the history?
There are those who say legitimately it started off as a peaceful intentions or right about the agitation of the Igbo.
What brought about IPOB?
But what happened?
No, what brought about IPOB? Chenwu, you have a region that has been marginalized. They've been crying for marginalization. It wasn't during the time of President Buhari. President Tinubu has tried to do one or two things, put some infrastructure, move some money there. You say you don't want them. Chenwu, you say you don't like me. You say you don't want me. Okay, allow me to go home. You say I will not go. One must give way. It's either you bring me at the center or you let me go. We should stop pretending in this country. That is IPOB you are talking about. The people are saying they are marginalized.
What is marginalization? Can you mention one thing that...
Let's look at your dictionary.
No.
Say what you know.
In practical terms.
I'm coming. Yeah. There are no federal presence in the southeast. The little we are having now is under Tinubu. 6. None. No good roads, no infrastructure. You borrowed money. President Buhari borrowed money to build rails up to Mali, another country. None cross the southeast. But we are paying the loan back. We are part and parcel of repaying the loan. And you say it is justice. They have the right to protest. You can't beat and flog a child. You still stop the child from crying.
What would have been
the child must cry.
What would have been the best way to handle that situation?
The best way is for President Tinubu to sit down, look at the whole thing, find a way to balance these things, bring in Nnamdi Kanu out, go and do business with Nnamdi Kanu. Nobody else can do that, apart from the president. If you subdue this one, expect it again, and again, and again. You cannot run away from it. Nnamdi Kanu committed no crime. Nnamdi Kanu did nothing. He did not kill anybody. He did not move arms.
It's not for you to decide. The
matter
is in court.
The truth is naked. I don't need to. The truth is naked.
It is not for you. As a lawyer,
let me tell you.
You are a servant before the temple of justice.
Let me tell you.
And you know what it means when a matter is before the court. You cannot say Nnamdi Kanu did nothing when the court is still assessing and trying the matter.
It will reach.
No, you are wrong. You are wrong. You are wrong. On that note, you are wrong, sir. No, sir. You are wrong on the note to say. It's a matter of law.
It will get to this.
It's subjudice for you to say.
In this country,
yes, sir.
When people will stop listening to what you are talking about. Let me tell you an experience I had in 1992. I was in NIPS. Part of the programs in NIPS is you have local tours, African tours, and outside tour. My group went to Kano, Imo, then Cameroon, then Brazil. Was it Brazil? Brazil, yes. When we got to Cameroon, the chief of army staff, General Kumankwi, was given instruction by this Pobia on certain things. Commander-in-Chief, he said, Mr. President, this order is illegal. I will not obey it. In Cameroon. And I'm ready to take the consequences. That thing was boiling before we left for our foreign tours. It will get to a point in this country, unless we redress judiciary, we redress what we are doing to Nigerian people will start taking the laws into their hands.
Just for a moment, sir. The reason why I said you're wrong, sir, and you are a very senior lawyer, you know that when a matter is yet to be decided before the court, you do not take it out of the mouth of justice. Allow the court to have decided the matter. And that's why I said this is not a court of law.
The court has decided the issue of Nnamdi Kanu.
Just a moment.
The court has decided.
The court has not freed Nnamdi Kanu.
The court has freed Nnamdi Kanu. The court of appeal.
Just a moment, sir. The court has not decided on the trial of Nnamdi Kanu. It's still in process. The man is still under detention, and the matter is before the court. And I'm saying, as a lawyer, you know that it is not right. It's subjudice for you to now determine for the court on television what the court is still trying at the moment.
Let me tell you. You can do what you like. You can say what you like. I have the right to say I don't believe in what you are doing. It is my inalienable right. You can even sentence me. It is my right. When I see that everything has been compromised in this country, when nobody can get justice, is it in election matters? And that's why there's no development. People are no longer having confidence in what should have given them the hope that tomorrow will be better. Nnamdi Kanu's case is a case that President Tinubu must address. All these things that are happening today, they're not necessary.
How do you think he will address it? Is it a political or judicial manner in which he will address it? How?
You see, even from the time President Buhari was here, leaders of thought in Igbo land met him. He dismissed it, that it is in court. Governors, 5 governors, led by Hope Uzodinma, whom they are accusing now, erroneously, They don't know the job these people are making to get this man out. But you see, people write nonsense in the media.
So Hope Uzodinma is at the forefront of fighting for Nnamdi Kanu.
Hope Uzodinma, OT, these are the two people I know very well.
Abaribe?
No, I'm talking of governors.
Okay.
So, but there are people, just like the job Hope is doing in you, people will come and write nonsense. Imo now is Dubai. But people will go to internet, those who have not come home for more than 5 years. They would read down there and write. They don't know the effort these people are making. They say they have told people not to release him. They told me not to. Where are your facts? My intel has told me about the governors, and I have told you about politicians and businessmen who are afraid of Nnamdi Kanu's release. Let the president. I told you, Shemu, in this station, if we have decided not to release Nnamdi Kanu, bring his body to Ego Square. Let us use him for barbecue. Let his enemies come and chop from the meat so that we can close this matter permanently.
If you were President Tinubu and you decide to release Nnamdi, how would you go about it?
I will call the Igbo leaders, call the governors, take Nnamdi Kanu, file a knowledge protocol, hand Nnamdi Kanu to them. Let him do any other nonsense when he comes out. I'll call the leaders in Igbo land, call all of them. Nnamdi Kanu did not do anything to deserve all this.
Can the leaders in Igbo land actually curtail any excesses that come from the actions of Nnamdi Kanu? Can they control him?
Did Nnamdi Kanu fall from the sky? Did he fall from the sky?
Does he have people that he listens to?
Even a madman. You can see violent madmen and women. You know they fall in love. You see madmen, you don't hear them. But when they are falling in love, when they see that they are lovers, they will change. They become ice water. He didn't fall from the sky. So every madman has somebody that will talk to him and he will listen.
There are people in Nnamdi Kanu listens to.
Call leaders. File a knowledge. Call leaders in Igbo land. Call leaders of thought. Bring them to the villa. Take your son. We are giving him to you. Release him. All these things happen. If not for the good governors we have in the southeast, nothing will work there. We have the best governors in the region now. I am saying it without hesitation. They are working. From Hope to OT to Mba and all that. If not, they have frustrated the economy of the place. In a year, we lost almost 7 trillion naira. But they are doing their best to put infrastructure, to empower people, and to do all those things, health, education. We are people that work hard. People should stop hating us. So, the Igbo man is the easiest person to deal with. If you have his code.
And what is the code of the Igbo man?
It's not for the public. You have to buy it.
Trade and commerce. It's interesting, and if you look at the conversation I had with Governor Soludo yesterday, and he said something that the Igbo man needs to be more accommodating, that if you are an itinerant person, you cannot be seen in a certain land. But
he was saying they are not accommodating?
No. Okay. He was talking about how to resolving this matter, and he said his mind. But in a national security prism, how do you explain it to those who are, because you know, justice, they say, justice is not only to be served on the victim, justice to the public, justice to the person who has been prosecuted. So in that sense, there are those who have been on the receiving side of the actions. And if you look at Simon Ekpa, just for a moment, sir, let me land on the thought. There are people who have been maimed and killed
by in the name of Nnamdi Kanu.
No. So that's the question I'm asking.
That is the trajectory
just a moment,
his haters are pushing
there
forward.
Are those who ask questions that the intent may be good, but there are opportunities who have taken advantage of it. Take, for example, someone who went to ORIE to visit a former political advisor to Ahmed Gulak, and was maimed on his way to the airport. And you look at someone like Simon Ekpa, and those who say in the manner in which he was prosecuted in Finland has brought some peace in the Southeast region. So from the political point of view, there is what you have said. But the security point of view, how do you deal with it?
Nnamdi Kanu has spoken about Simon Ekpa. Most of the things he did was not on his instructions. He didn't hide it, even in court. You see, when you have situations like this, you have different groups, imagine, for their own interest. I had not heard, and I did not hear from any Igbo man of substance that supported Simon Ekpa. Nnamdi Kanu has said in court, open court, get me out of here. All this nonsense going on in Igbo land in the southeastern state will stop. Yeah, he didn't impress anybody. He's not somebody that will chicken out or be lenient with his presentations. He's straight. When he wants to shoot, he will shoot.
He says that this is an animal kingdom. This is not a nation.
No. It's part of
some of the things that he has said.
You see, there are many people that have, I don't want to start calling names. There are people in this country who say they don't believe in Nigeria. Most of them have found themselves in cabinet. There are many people who have said all sorts of things against Nigeria. It's those of us who believe in this country till tomorrow. Even when IPOP was hot, I was on television, I said it that I am for Nigeria.
The question
is Nigeria that be fair to all.
So let me ask you, will Igbo presidency and Igbo president be a solution to this agitation?
That is not what I said. Let me tell you. But for how the whole thing turned around during President Buhari, I am telling you now, and don't misjudge me to say that I say we don't need presidency. The Igbo man, once you are fair to him, what you are giving, according to one of the governors, Enyendebe, that is, you give these people, you give to other people. Once you are keeping to it, Igbo man is not interested who is at the top there. But it has come to the point that they say, hey, everybody, they've gotten this. We are 3 ports at independence. Some have gone twice, gone thrice. We have not gotten it.
Do you think that we need a national reconciliation conference where the issues of Igbo land and the civil war and the aftermath needs to be addressed frontally? Do you think that politically this president can achieve that by healing the wound?
I was a member of the National Conference 2014. If President Buhari had taken the report of that conference, 620 recommendations, unanimously passed, we won't be where we are today. President Tinubu would have been concentrating on advancing on that. But President Tinubu came back. He started from where Jonathan stopped to clean all the rubbish that was left behind, including the bastardization of the economy. I'm not speaking for him, but I'm a realist. That is the truth.